Yes, people, and I don't know. It's that time again. The start of the new Premier League season. And if you don't know who I be, you don't know you guys keeping it locked with the real Gunner Lee. And that's all we do. We talk all things Arsenal. And I don't know how the vibes go. I think I have to do that again. So if you don't know who I be, you know keeping it locked with the real Gunner League, and I don't know the vibes. That's how we're kicking it off. But this season of the Premier League, the first game of the season is Arsenal versus Brentford. You don't know the biggest team in the league, one of the biggest clubs, although we don't play like it, although our performances don't show that. One of the biggest clubs still in England, Arsenal, starting off this Premier League season on Friday, 3 p.m. on the Know the Vibes, 3 p.m. Eastern, because you don't know I'm over here in the NY vibe. But I know the thing set Arsenal versus newly promoted Brentford. And before I get into the game in terms of the starting lineup, in terms of the formation, let's talk about the transfer window or lack thereof from Arsenal. I mean, in terms of the transfer window, we have had a few outgoings so far. Might not really recognize them. Guendouzi, who was out on loan before. David Luiz also out of contract. He's gone. So at the end of the day, that's really the only outings. I mean, Xhaka and Bellerin is gone. Psych, that's a joke. That's what they let us to believe that Xhaka and Bellerin were going to leave. Xhaka was heavily linked with Roma. Man did a flirt with Roma heavy. Like, man try to show you, like, man never even care. Same have a cat tip on him left. The man try to get a side piece. And it just never fall through. And we, like, you don't know the abusive girl in the relationship or an abusive relationship. It was like, yo, Xhaka, oh, you was flirting over there. Nah, still forward. We still don't want you. Because at the end of the day, that's the issue with us. We notice that there's a problem. We notice that this guy isn't good enough to get us anywhere. But at the end of the day, we don't surround the team or don't build the team with midfielders that are better than him. Midfielders that we can rely on other than him. And so that's what we're going to get. If El Nene is in your midfield, you lost Ceballos. Willock is linked to a move to Newcastle. Like, who is in the midfield? There's no one in the midfield. So it's obvious why Shaka doesn't command the amount of money that we think, because we obviously think Shaka is a better baller than the rest of the world thinks. So at the end of the day, not getting 20 million euros, only getting 13, 12 million euros, is that's what Xhaka's value is. And it just seems like, to me, it's always the sites that Arteta uses. He's a very smart guy. I would say he's a very confident, borderline cocky youth, and I think that's the type of thing he does. He tries to do like smart moves, so it doesn't. It seems like he's hampered in a way based on the decisions that he's making. Like, no one can wrong him for playing Xhaka at the start of the season, because Xhaka is one of our best midfielders that's currently at the club. It is his fault, however, or the board's fault. It's both of them, in my opinion, that Xhaka is not sold. So we have to rely on Xhaka because there's nobody else there. Xhaka is not sold. Bellerin is not sold. Bellerin is looking like he may be our starting right back again after we've signaled that this guy is not good enough to be our right back. So in terms of the transfer window, I mean, there has been a lot of bad in terms of, like, the lack of movement, lack of outgoing. Serrer is still at the club. He still wants to leave. He's still out. As I said, Joe Willock is linked to Newcastle. He's agreed terms with Newcastle, but Arsenal not agreed terms with Newcastle yet. They're still trying to sort out a price point, basically. In terms of Willock, he's monitored out. Bellerin, even Cedric at this point is linked to Fenerbahce and stuff like that. And Rob Holding was linked to Newcastle earlier in the season. Not sure how that's going, but in terms of that, there's a lot of players that are surplus to requirements, as a lot of people would say. And the fact of the matter is, we're not really pushing the needle. The only one of there's been three good signings, and I must say that the three signings that we have done, we've actually done something, people. We've actually done some work, went out there, and we've got some there. Tavares, who to me he's proven to be a good, strong left back. He has that mentality that every time he's on the pitch, it look like the man want to win. and that's the type of mentality we have. The only issue is that he's playing that left back position, which to me is, that's obviously Tierney's position. But the way that he plays that position, like every time I'm seeing him in the preseason, he's been a bright spark for us. So look out for Tavares, and I think Tavares will end up getting some playing time. Starting a lot more than we probably think. Given a care and tear and injury here or there. But I even would think about trying to play Tierney as the left center back instead of Murray. Although, like, I have no issues with Murray. Murray's all right. But in terms of pace, in terms of this high defensive line that I've been seeing us play in these preseason games, it only seems right that we have somebody who's mobile, who's quick, who's good at defending, who can, get around people, who's agile, and have that guy in the middle as well as a guy like Tavares, who can get up the pitch, can also use his right foot. You guys saw that when he scored his goal in the preseason. He has a nose for goal and he's a tenacious player. Also, the Portuguese midfielder Sambi Lokonga. The man is the Samba boy running around, dancing around that midfield. I love to see it, bro. Big man thing. Lokonga looks like the future. It looks like he can be the future for the team, and it's looking like he can be the present. In my opinion, should be starting in midfield with most likely going to be Xhaka, Lokonga, and Smith Rowe for me. That should definitely be the three-man midfield based on Lokonga's performances. I think the only thing that you have to look out for is his fitness. In terms of his fitness, in terms of if he can like keep up that energy and that level from 0 to 90 minutes. I've seen him do it from 0 to 60, 65, 70 minutes and kind of peter off. But that makes sense with younger players, them really starting to get into the groove of things. So yeah, I mean Lakonga looks strong, and then the last big signing we've actually made a huge signing, and to me we never really had to invest in defending, but with the likes of David Luiz leaving on the contract, Mustafi leaving, all of those guys who left at the end, it kind of makes sense that we have like a strong commanding center back. And to me, Ben White, people were trying to kind of cast it as that, oh, he could be a right back or whatever. No, that guy is a center back, and I mean it might be looking like a center back extraordinaire because the first couple of games we've seen this man, he's looked good. Benoit has definitely looked good. He looks like the type of player you need, in terms of this whole methodology and this tactical nuance that Arteta has. Not really nuance, but his tactical methodology. The way that he thinks about building the ball or out from the back. I think Ben White is a perfect player for that. We've seen him. He's strong, he's fast, he's quick on the ball, he has good control, so he's able to, dribble the ball out as well as pass the ball out. Probably not those long, lanky passes, length of the pitch passes like David Luiz, but he can dribble, he has the pace, he can get back, he can cover. And to me, that's three big signings that Arsenal have made. So I have to say big up to them. But the fact of the matter is that we are far behind. We still have a lot of the same players, and we still have a lot more issues. We're still linked to James Madison, which to me would be a really big acquisition. We're also linked to Odegaard, and I told you guys this before in terms of the two. To me, it has to be Madison. Madison is proven in the Premier League. Odegaard did okay when he played with us. He did synergize, but I think he scored one goal and two assists. Like, let's not get overboard. He didn't have that great of a season like people want to say. He was just okay, and I feel like a lot of the times he was playing in the cam when Smith Rowe should be playing in the cam instead of playing Smith Rowe on the left when he could have played Martinelli, etc. So for me, Odegaard is not a necessity at all. I think Madison is a bit more. Madison has a bit more to his game. He's a bit more, not technical is the way. He's a bit more adaptable and fluent in his game. He can move from 8 to 10. That's in his locker. He's a different type of player. It's not just one type of player. Odegaard to me is just a creative midfielder. Mainly plays in the midfield. Doesn't really have the pace to go out there on the wing that much, but he's okay going on the wing and combining with fast wingers like Saka, Pepe, etc. So Yeah, I mean, for me, we linked to Madison, linked to other guard. I mean, we need to have more signings because we're falling behind people. You know, the whole season it was Aston Villa trying to bid to get our young players. You know what I mean? Aston Villa of all teams like them, a big bad team, I try bid for Emil Smith Rowe, who is obviously, one or like I would even think of the day that that type of thing would have happened. I would have think that Arsenal would have been the team if you see that time, you look upon them and say, boom, 50, 60 mil for Grealish. Even if they say no to that. But you show them where you're at in terms of like what your hopes and your aspirations are for a club. And it just show, how people view Arsenal now. We kind of getting lower and lower in terms of how people view us as a club. And I think this is why this transfer window is so important. We need to make about two or three more acquisitions in order to get us just to a point or position where we can be competitive for a fourth to sixth place finish, just so that we can keep on going up the ladder. Because if we stay stable and the team stays the way it is, it's kind of the same team, hasn't really improved that much. If we look at it, Abba is getting older, Laka is getting older, and Abba is not looking sharp. People, that's the issue. That's the main issue going into this first game, is that Aubameyang has not found the net. He has had chances, so it's not like we're not creating. Other strikers has found the goal and found the net and have looked good. Aubameyang has not looked that good at all. To me, he's gotten a little bit incrementally better. But in terms of going into this preseason, it's trouble for Aubameyang. It's trouble for us too. Because if we don't even know how our talisman actually going, or what's going on with him, we don't have that confidence. And you can imagine that everybody in the team must be thinking, yo, this man don't score. What's going on? Like, that's who we're relying on. So to me, it's going to be a big task for Arteta to pick this lineup against Brentford on Friday. And I don't know. This is how I would go with it. You don't know. Leno would have to be in the goal for me because we don't have anybody else. We're looking for keepers right now. We're linked to Ramsdale. I think that deal looking like it may have fell through today, right as I'm speaking about it. Yeah, so we're linked to Ramsdale for a backup keeper. I don't know. The fact that we're looking for Ramsdale as a backup made me kind of think Leonard told Arteta that don't really want to be here anymore. You know what I mean? And then probably Leonard was like, I'll stay till the January window. If that happened, you hear that here first. But on the right back position, I saw Chambers playing more right back, but I've seen Hector Bellerin start the last game or so. And honestly, Bellerin didn't play that bad. And if I don't think he played that bad, that means Arteta must think he's playing awesome. So honestly, Bellerin is going to start. Tierney seems healthy. Tierney has to be the left back. As I said, Murray in the middle. Ben White for me has to start. If I don't see Ben White starting this game, I will be furious. If I don't see Lakonga in the midfield with Xhaka, if it's Xhaka and El Neni, I will be furious. If Emil Smith Rowe, it will definitely be at the camp, so I'm not even worrying about that. If Pepe is not there on the right, I will be furious. I know Saka is just coming back, so it might be a little way for him to get the left, but for me, Saka is on the left and striker is gonna be Lacazette. I know that might throw people off, but honestly, that's how I think the game is affected. Like Lacazette affects the game more, even if he doesn't score. While Aubameyang, if he doesn't score, he never affects the game, and that's just the end all be all. That's just the truth. Aubameyang hardly affects the game if he's not scoring, and that's the unfortunate matter. That's what we've been seeing the last couple seasons out there about. It's subpar. It's subpar. I expect more. I hope for more, and I don't know. For me, I would pick that team. I know Arteta is gonna go with Aubameyang. Most likely, if Saka is not really fully fit, it would be Aubameyang on the left, Laka in the middle. And we kind of seen through preseason that really don't look like it worked that well, people. So I don't know. The first game is always a tough one. Brentford is a tough team, even though they're new into the league, newly promoted. But yo, I'm hearing things about this team. I'm hearing things about the players. I mean, Ivan Tony is the hot name, in terms of fantasy, because the man scored 30 something goals last season. I mean, him look like that type of striker that will be picked up, in next season or even midway through the season, depending how good he is, he's gonna get picked up by a better team. So yeah, that's my predicted lineup. I would have Laka starting first just because Laka looks sharp. I mean, honestly, I would probably put Abba on the left if Saka is not fully fit and just hope it works out for this game. But at the end of the day, that's how we look. We are linked to Tammy Abraham. I just want to say a brief thing on that. I don't see any reason why we shouldn't get Tammy Abraham. Um, we can see that we don't really have any aerial prowess. Aubameyang is not a good header of the ball. When the ball gets to Laka, he's more likely to even get something on it, but he's more shielding somebody. He's not going up there to head the ball. I think Abraham would be amazing because he can actually get the ball and he'll bring people towards him in the air. And you know what happens, even if you don't get the first jump at the header, then the second one is there, and then he probably brings two people, and then that leaves your striker like a Aubameyang open. On the left, it could be a Obama and Abraham in the middle. You know that thing sets up. So to me, we shouldn't be snuffing at Abraham. I think Abraham would be a nice pickup for us because we need a striker. We need someone with aerial prowess, especially when we have those crosses from Tierney and those crazy lofted balls from Bellerin or whatnot. And I know Saka always find people in the middle too. And to me, like those crosses really need somebody who won't attack it, attack those headers, especially when Aubameyang and Laka aren't really finding the true form that we know they can. So yeah, people, thank you for kicking it with me. And if you're here for this long, you see me ranting and talking about Arsenal. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. Won't stop doing it. I won't stop giving you guys content. So just like, comment, on your feelings. What's your lineup? Share the video. You know the thing go. And keep it locked. You know who I be. The real gonna lead. And I'm out. Bless up.